Let me see. Good evening or good afternoon. I don't know when evening starts. I think around 6 now. Since it's August, we're closer to having longer days. I mean, it's still somewhat equal right now, equal number of days, but in summer, it's just like the hours are longer in a day for some reason. Hmm. All right. So my regulars are coming in. Hi. So as we know today, Mercury has gone direct. And because it's gone direct, this means that a lot of changes are happening at the moment. So yeah, hi. Um yeah, so I just want you to know that Mercury is going to be in retrograde again, I think in October or November. So we get a few months of reprieve. But I thought I would be talking about the changes that are coming in since Mercury has gone direct as of today. So let's start. So the first thing I do want you to know, divine feminine or divine masculine, is that the Mercury retrograde has made you gone within. Mercury retrograde has made you be reflective about where you're holding yourself back or you're not tapping in to your highest potential. And now that Mercury has gone direct, it's like the veil has been lifted from over your eyes. So, what exactly is in store for Divine Feminine since Mercury retrograde has gone direct today? Let's start, shall we? So, I'm going to say that the Divine Feminine at the moment is really having a lot of self limiting beliefs about, um, a lot of self limiting beliefs about the divine. Yeah, so the Divine Feminine has a lot of self limiting beliefs about the I guess you can say about the divine masculine, but also about love. So a lot of divine feminines are letting go of the narratives they've had about love, like I'm not enough, that the divine masculine is not responding to my amount of work. It's like a whole bunch of codependency trauma is coming up for the divine feminine. And I do see this is someone's surprise for divine feminine as she thought she had already work through those things. And I feel as though what the divine feminine wants to actually let go of at the moment. And I'm just gonna say this: you make any comments about my face, you will be blocked. So yes. So don't even say that. So what I'm gonna say about the divine feminine is that she is starting to believe the I guess a different story. So what's going on? She's going to her subconscious mind. She is reprogramming herself to think in her favor. And a lot of divine feminines are feeling a lot of hurt and rage coming up. And this is things that we're impressing for lifetimes. So it's like the divine feminine is moving into her dark feminine energy. And because she is moving into her dark feminine energy, she is letting go of, you know, this repressed emotion. And as she lets go of it, she is moving into a different timeline. So I'm going to say that the divine feminine may have not been sleeping that great. If she gets sleep, is very fruitful, and do believe the energies of the sturgeon moon are among us, and that's why the divine feminine has very light sleep. So there's a lot of light code activations that are happening, and I feel as though even further light code activations are happening for the divine feminine. So what the divine feminine wants to let go of, I feel as though it has to do with her attachment to the old story. She knows it's not serving her anymore, and she is done succumbing to fear. She is done, letting fear rule her. She understands that in order to have this timeline jump, she needs to believe in the impossible. And it feels like this is easier said than done because the divine feminine's ego is still cropping up its head, trying to keep the divine feminine stuck in a lower timeline. And I'm just going to actually say is that the divine feminine just needs to trust that there is going to be the reality that she wants. So a lot of the divine feminines are timeline jumping, And I feel as though a lot of divine feminines do feel somewhat apprehensive, like they don't know what to expect. But I'm just going to tell you right away that the divine feminine is going to be, really jumping, like I said, really taking that leap of faith, like really, like, trusting that it will work out in her favor. And one more thing I do want to say for Divine Feminine that's coming up. A lot of ancestral karma is coming up for Divine Feminine right now. And I feel as though this is helping the Divine Feminine to see where she is still inhibited, where she is still holding herself back because society requires her to be disempowered. And a lot of Divine Feminines are challenging that status quo. They are stepping into their higher self in a very deep level. So, what I'm going to say for the Divine Feminine, how many of you have been having throat chakra activations or third eye chakra activations? I feel as though there's a lot of divine feminines that are having migraines or headaches these past couple days, ever since the Lionsgate energy started to peak down. And also, let me see. Like again, it's like a head cold, but it's not really a head cold. If you know what I'm talking about, of course. So I'm just gonna say right now is that yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna tell you what's happening. There is a lot of ancestral karma stuck in those regions. It has to do with duty and obligation. There's a lot of ancestral karma you didn't even know you had that are being flushed out of your system right now. And as it's being flushed out of your system, you are really stepping into your highest self. And you guys feel much more empowered. You feel much more free. And that's what the end game of the divine. The divine wants you to know that this is like really working out like in your favor. So I do see that you will continue to have sleep problems over the next 2 to 3 days, but by midweek it will subside. So you can very much, trust that the divine is helping you to integrate the new divine feminine template into your quantum field. So a lot of you are really focused on balancing your animus at the moment, which is your inner masculine. And I feel as though that there is a lot of self-limiting beliefs in your when it comes to your masculine. So if you guys are confused about how to heal your masculine, don't look at the purified masculine energy. Look at the distorted masculine and wounded masculine slash karmic masculine. People call it by so many names, but what I just want you to know is that there are still remnants, and of course, there's always going to be remnants of some kind, but of course, this is what needs to be healed at the moment. So I feel as though a lot of divine feminines are going to be healing. They're trusting the process yet again. And I feel as though this is going to be in a deeper level. There is going to be some past life clearing that will continue. We have Chiron retrograde right now, and this is bringing up a lot of past life trauma along with Saturn. So a lot of you are going to have a lot of shifts about your journey. You're going to see your journey from the higher perspective. You're going to see it from a bird's eye point of view, and you're going to see what else needs to be worked on. I'm seeing a lot of divine feminines moving into deeper surrender, not when it comes to just their divine masculine, but when it comes to their overall life. Because for a while, a lot of the divine feminines were like, hustle and go, hustle and go, hustle and go. They were pushing for the outcome they wanted. But if what shifted? Well, I'm going to tell you, a lot of divine feminines realized that they were not trusting. They were thinking that they had to hustle and grind in order to receive what they want. And a lot of divine feminines are seeing that they can attract that. And what they need to do is stop chasing. So a lot of the divine feminines are really working on being in a state of neutrality right now. And I feel as though that's a very good thing. So Divine Feminine is not pushing for something. She is just stepping back and just going with the flow. Of course, she still wants to think, but she's not going to try to push things and, you know, take herself out of the now. A lot of Divine Feminines will be like they're really like trusting the divine and they're really like yielding at the moment to the divine plan. So let me see, what else am I getting for Divine Feminine? Divine Feminine. One more thing I am going to say before I jump to Divine Masculine is that this is this is very good energy, And I feel as though what you need to do when your ego does crop up, I'm going to say that that's normal. And because it's normal, you should not try to like control the ego. Just allow the ego to say what it needs to say, and try to see if there's a something that needs to be worked on. We are here to parent our ego. We are here to balance our ego and our soul. We are not here to kill it. We're not here to squash it. We're here to live in total harmony. And of course, this is really happening. Like everything's happening right now, and it's really leading to a very overall energy a very good overall energy. So I feel as the divine feminine, its energy is really solid right now, and it will continue to be more solid through it will continue to be more solid for the next couple of months. So expect things to be a lot lighter for not only just August but September and October. So yeah. So what am I going to say about divine masculine? Divine masculine, everybody's favorite part. Everybody wants to know what the divine masculine's doing. Who here, I'm just asking, who here enjoys just hearing about the divine masculine and just seeing how much they've grown this year? It's something very exciting to happen about. A lot of divine masculines are really doing really great right now. And again, when I tune into energy, it's just nothing but goodness. A lot of divine masculines are opening their eyes. They're opening their eyes to this connection. And what they're starting to see is that in the past, they thought that the divine feminine, I wouldn't say she was asking too much, but I feel as though she thought she was, I guess, not saying things properly. But he's never exactly thought of her as crazy or anything. It's just she's making me more to what I can be. And I feel as though a lot of divine masculines are seeing it much differently, that the divine feminine was right. And he didn't know it then, but a lot of divine masculines were forced to conclude that they gave up on themselves a long time ago. And it wasn't until they met the divine feminine that they realized that she wasn't exactly telling him what to do. She wasn't telling him to, be someone he wasn't. She was just, again, pushing him to go into his highest potential. And a lot of divine masculines did not love themselves at the time. But a lot of divine masculines are starting to see that love is truth. And a person who truly loves you will push you to be the best version of themselves. And a lot of divine masculines are looking at their karmic situation right now. They're starting to see that their karmic does not challenge them. And the truth is that the karmic does not love them like the divine feminine does. And I feel as though it applies for karmics, their divine masculines who are in a karmic situation that's a romance. But I feel as though for those who are not in a romantic situation, but has family involved, a lot of divine masculines are starting to see that their family did not actually support and facilitate their growth like the divine feminine has. That they wanted him to be a certain way. And a lot of the divine masculines are starting to see that they were caged. They were actually manipulated and gaslighted into believing that they were too much. And a lot of divine masculines are starting to see that a lot of people around them do not actually like the idea of him growing. They do not like the idea of him rising into his divinity. And a lot of divine masculines are being forced to acknowledge that. But what exactly does the divine masculine do right now? Half of him doesn't want to believe it, but his heart knows the truth. So what the divine masculine is doing right now is just going within. He will continue to go within until the end of August. A lot of you do not feel your divine masculine as prominently, and this is why. Because your divine masculine is reflecting on what the divine is trying to show him at the moment. So I feel as though a lot of divine masculines are starting to see the connection with the divine feminine. What exactly they're seeing? That love is not only just truth, but it's also a safe haven. And a lot of divine masculines are looking at their relationship trauma. They're looking at the relationship trauma and they're being forced to acknowledge that there's a string of toxic relationships that they have been in, that they looked outside of themselves for that love and validation. But now a lot of divine masculines are like saying, well, it was within me the whole time. So a lot of divine masculines are really focused on self love. They're focused on being the best version of themselves. And I feel as though Mercury retrograde has also thrown them a huge realization, and that is that they cannot love anybody until they love themselves. And I feel as though a lot of divine masculines are wanting to go to divine feminine right now, and the divine's like, nah, nah. The divine's not making any divine masculines move until the divine is satisfied that the divine masculine has loved himself to a sufficient degree. So even though divine masculine does want to reach out to the divine feminine, the divine is waiting till the right time for these two align. So I feel as though what's going on with the divine masculine is that he is being forced to really look at his codependency trauma. And I feel as though he's going to make a lot of realizations love, about love is not sacrifice. He's been realizing this, but he's just seeing all the ways in which he was looking outside for that love. And a lot of divine masculines are going to be looking at their actions with the divine feminine a lot more clearly. And what's going on at the moment is that a lot of divine feminines are being called to really, trust in the process, to really trust that the connection between the divine feminine and him will be able to go to a higher degree. So if you're watching this and you are still angry at your divine masculine, I assure you you're not in this collective. But if you have actually been doing the work, if you have been really balancing your anima and animus, then odds are your divine masculine are in this collective, because divine masculine feels like the divine feminine is very neutral toward him, but he's doing a lot of overthinking. He is not used to this sense of neutrality. He is being forced to acknowledge that he saw love as someone fighting for him was the epitome of love. That someone pushing for a connection was love itself. And now the divine masculine is seeing differently. It's not love, it's codependency. And now divine masculine is seeing that his divine feminine is not chasing him. She's not going to do anything that causes her to topple off her throne. She is looking for her divine masculine to rise up, and a lot of divine masculines want to rise up. And this is what's happening right now. A lot of divine feminines are being called to really let go of that false belief that about love. So this is what they're working on right now. And because they're working on this is really causing the divine masculine to really let go of, I guess, all those stories. And another thing is that divine masculine is being called to really, trust in the process. Like a lot of divine masculines are be like, well, what else can I do? Because a lot of divine masculines are working on themselves right now. They're really working on being the highest version of themselves. I do see that again, they want to give the divine feminine what she rightfully deserves. And this is really happening on a higher level. So the divine feminine is being called to really, right now, you feel like this resonates with you. What can you do? Here's what's coming through. A lot of divine masculines feel really lost right now. So the best thing you could do is really reassure them from the 5D that you're here, that they are supported, and that you do trust you do trust them. Because a lot of divine masculines are just overthinking the path. And you'll be surprised at how you'll feel that, if you feel random anxiety right now, not right now, but again, right, often, that's your divine masculine. So the best thing you could do is just really talk to him and tell him, I'm here, I'm supporting you. And this will really help them to, being, not be so anxious. So, let me see. What else? What else am I going to say? Nothing much. Let me see. I'm going to see whatever messages come through from the divine masculine to divine feminine. So, what your divine masculine wants you to know right now, divine feminine, is that he is seeing the connection with you from for what it is. It's a very powerful and potent connection, and this has caused him to be triggered on a very deep level. And a lot of divine masculines are like saying like, "You are the only one I want." So I do see again. This is why some of you are having trouble with the ego right now because you're picking up on your divine masculine. He's the one overthinking. So what you need to really understand is that divine masculine wants this more than anything. He wishes to be with you, but every time he gives into love, he gets this, I guess, like he overthinks the whole thing. He's like, does she want me as much as I want her? You were everything that I have ever wanted in a woman. And what he wants you to know is that he wants to do right by you. He wants to put this connection first. And he is moving everything out that is not of love out of his life. And that, like I said, the choice has already been made, and a lot of divine masculines are really working on clearing the trauma and the self-limiting beliefs that prevent them from choosing the divine feminine. So yeah, that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Oh my god, my nephews are back. My nephews are back. Yes, this is over good energy. Yes, yeah, my nephew. Yeah, they're around there somewhere. Let me see. Trey, yeah, Isaac and Adrian, yes. Mm. All right. All right, then I guess there is not any questions, so I guess I will be ending the stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you another time. Namaste.